Well, Helen Thomas, thank God, resigned after many decades of service as a White House correspondent. She was Obama's favorite, kept calling on her, and a great picture of her hugging him. But after what she said the other day, it's clear that she is deeply biased and cannot be a journalist. In an interview during Jewish Cultural Heritage Week, she basically said that Jews should leave Israel, they occupy Israel, and they should go back to Germany and Poland. There are so many things that are offensive and wrong with that it's hard to know where to begin. First of all, you have to understand that she's of Lebanese Arab descent, and I'm sure, not that all Arabs necessarily are biased about the truth, but that must have clouded her vision. Her apology about what she said simply was not enough, and she had to resign or be fired for the unbelievably ludicrous worldview that projects, even though there's many people who share it. Obama himself has contributed to this with his awful speech in Cairo to the Muslim world a few years ago. 2 years ago, he basically defended Israel's right to exist only on the basis of the Holocaust, which is exactly what the Arabs say, that the only reason that Israel exists is because of the Holocaust and how people felt sorry. But that belies the complete historical record, which is completely the opposite. I mean, does Helen Thomas have a right to be in the United States? Does anybody have a right to be in the United States besides Native Americans? We have no right to be in the United States. We stole the land from the Native Americans, but we're here. The only country, in fact, that has a right to be where it is are the Jewish people in the land of Israel. If you go by the Bible, which Islam and Christianity says that it accepts and ratifies, the whole Hebrew Bible is a Zionist document from beginning to end, beginning with God's promise to Abraham in Genesis 12 and 15, the whole way through. It's a story about God saying that children of Israel, the Jewish people, have a right to the land of Israel. And then by historic terms, from day one, from the time that David established Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. And of course there are people that deny it. I mean, Eisenhower wanted everybody to go to the concentration camps because he said he couldn't believe that someday, believe it, people are going to deny the Holocaust. In fact, at Nuremberg, every single one of the people who pled innocent of their charges of crimes against humanity, not one said it didn't happen. They all said we were just simply following orders. Today, of course, Abbas says the Holocaust didn't happen. The head of Iran says the Holocaust didn't happen. The same way, the Arabs say, many of them say that Jews were never in Jerusalem. The whole Bible clearly shows Jews were in Jerusalem, besides all the archaeological evidence that's being uncovered. But still, there is this tie, thousands of years of Jews to the land of Israel. It's the best claim to anybody has historically, religiously, and legally. Ordered by the League of Nations, the British White Paper, the United Nations vote. Jews have a right to be there. Then she said go back to Poland and Germany. Well, first of all, half of Israel are descended from the Arab nations and were kicked out of the Arab countries in between 1948 and 1950 after the establishment of the State of Israel. So what is she talking about? Second of all, go back to a place where Jews were murdered, mass murdered, 6 million Jews during the Holocaust. Jews were butchered during the Crusades by the Christian Crusaders. Jews were killed during the blood libel. Jews were killed during the Inquisition. Should go back to Europe. They're leaving Europe because of the Muslim onslaught and the anti-Semitism there. And it's not just that there. I mean, the Muslims are chanting death to the Jews everywhere. Not all Muslims, of course, but some Muslims. So they're supposed to go back there to a continent where they were brutalized and are now, again, being in very serious danger by the radical Muslim influx there and the kill the Jews, marches through the middle of London. And then she says that Israel is occupying Palestine. What do you mean occupying Palestine? It's the Jewish land. There's no such thing as a Palestinian people if you go back 100 years. Show me one historical document that says anything about a Palestinian people. It's all made up. There's 21 Arab nations. Most of them are made up too. What? Syria? Where's Syria? It was made up by the French. And Jordan? That was made up too, just a few years before the State of Israel. These countries didn't exist before. And so, do you want to create another country called the Palestinians, called Palestine, call it a 22nd Arab country? Okay, so Israel said we want to be in our land. We'll share it. If the people who live here who claim to be Palestinians, Palestine was the name given by the Romans to that area. The Jews were the Palestinians, but now it's Arab Muslims. And the Pope said the other day that that Arab Christians are being driven out of Arab countries by the Muslims, and nobody focuses on that. He thinks wrongly that supposedly if there's a solution to the Palestinian-Israeli problem, that'll solve the problem for the Christians, which is ridiculous. The torturing of Christians by Muslims in various Arab countries has nothing to do with the Israeli Arab situation. And what does it have to do with the Al Qaeda, the Taliban? What does that have to do with the Israeli situation? Nothing. But he's right that Christians are being tortured. And so when Helen Thomas makes the statement that during Jewish Cultural Heritage Week the Jews shouldn't be in Israel, she forfeits her right to be a White House correspondent, and I'm glad she resigned. But it starts with the top, with President Obama's huge error in Cairo, and this notion that the Jews only are there because of the Holocaust, and not having the best claim of any nation in the whole world to its territory, by the Bible, by God, by history, and by legality. Shalom.